Have you ever noticed how, sometimes, the greatest feeling of emptiness appears precisely after a major achievement? People who attain fame, fortune, recognition, and suddenly feel an uncomfortable silence, as if what they so desperately wanted was just foam. Freud had an explanation, and curiously, the Bible did too. Today we're going to talk about what happens to the human soul when it finally gets there, and discovers that there wasn't all it was cracked up to be. The unending desire. Freud's perspective. For Freud, the human being is driven by an invisible force, desire. But this desire has a problem. It never ends. Freud said we live between two tensions: the pleasure principle, seeking what gives pleasure and avoiding pain, and the reality principle, dealing with life as it is. However, even when we fulfill a desire, the pleasure is momentary. The emptiness soon returns because the desire wasn't about the object. It was about the movement. Example: you spend years striving for financial independence, and when you achieve it, a relief. Then, the emptiness. Why? Because the desire was never just for the money. It was for security, for freedom, for recognition. But these things are more emotional than material. Freud observed that many people enter an unconscious cycle. They achieve something, get frustrated, and move on to another goal, and another, and another. In an attempt to fill this hole, the person becomes overly productive, overly ambitious, overly controlling. But the emptiness remains. The truth is, nothing more is lacking externally. Something is lacking within. And what's lacking within cannot be bought or conquered, only discovered. The wisdom of Ecclesiastes, a timeless emptiness. The Bible spoke of this feeling long before Freud. In the book of Ecclesiastes, Solomon says, "Meaningless, meaningless, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless," often translated as, "all is vanity and chasing after the wind." Solomon had everything: wisdom, women, riches, power, but he ends his life recognizing that the heart of man is not satisfied with anything the world offers. It's exactly what Freud saw in his patients: rich people, powerful people, but without peace. And perhaps you know this feeling. When everything goes right and you still feel wrong. Have you ever met someone who has it all, but lives unsatisfied? Perhaps you felt this yourself. Everything goes right, and yet something feels wrong. You have time, but no enthusiasm. You have achievements, but no peace. Why does this happen? Because success can calm external pressures, but it awakens internal questions. And, as Freud said, the unconscious holds everything we pretend to have forgotten. All repressed anguish, all unresolved pain, all lack of meaning. Jesus also spoke about this in a direct way. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Mark 8:36. This isn't a critique of success, it's a warning. Be careful what you lose along the way. You can conquer the world and lose your identity. You can have everything and have no peace. The rest for the soul. Freud and Jesus. Freud diagnosed the modern soul as restless, desiring, divided. Jesus proposed the opposite. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." Matthew 11:28-29. It's not the rest of someone who has stopped. It's the rest of someone who has found themselves. What truly fills you? Conquest satisfies the ego, but only connection fills the spirit. The problem isn't in acquiring things. It's in expecting those things to heal internal wounds, and that, not even Freud promised. Freud exposed the pain. The Bible exposes the cure. The human soul needs direction, meaning, love, truth. And often the emptiness only appears after the conquest to show that it's time to seek something deeper. What if the emptiness isn't a mistake? What if it's an invitation? a space within you that can only be filled with purpose, with consciousness, with truth. Psychoanalysis can help you understand how you function, but only spiritual self-knowledge helps you understand why you exist. Freud gave us lenses to see what was hidden, but even he didn't believe that human beings would be fully happy. He said, "The best we can do is to transform neurotic misery into ordinary unhappiness." Perhaps he was right. But Jesus went further. "I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full." John 10:10. Perhaps the emptiness that Freud exposed is the same emptiness that Jesus came to fill.